everybody, it's Pupmeister, and today we're going to be making a bee sanctuary or a bee haven. And the reason I kind of have my cherry blossom biome in the background there is because that is an awesome place to get bee nests. So if you're looking for bee nests, use a Silk Touch and grab them from up there. Of course, you can find them in forests and all kinds of different places. And if you plan on doing one in the future, just grab a bee nest as you go by. Of course, the best time to grab a bee nest is when it's getting dark, because then all the bees will go back into the nest. Because you really don't really want empty bee nests. You want them as full of bees as you can get, which of course there's a maximum of 3. So let's get started on our bee sanctuary. So as we go here, I've been wanting to do this for a while. But I'm going to try to give you as much information on bees as possible. All the different stuff to do with bees. Might as well get that out of our way. So I'm going to do a very basic one today. The last time I made a bee sanctuary, it was a lot fancier. I used like yellow concrete and yellow stained glass and all this kind of stuff, and different blocks of honeycomb and stuff like that. But today we're just going to do a super easy, simple, basic one. So as you can see here, I've got a whole bunch of glass, I've got a bunch of cobblestone, and that's really all we need to make it. I do have some stuff up here, like some redstone dust, an observer, a dispenser, a hopper, and a barrel. That is to make an automatic honeycomb collector. And I like to collect my honey manually, but for some reason, honeycomb is not that exciting for me. So I get an automatic honeycomb collector. I can make an automatic honey collector that does not waste any glass bottles and stuff like that. I'd be happy to show you. Just drop it in the comments that you want to see that, and I will certainly make one for you. Now, the only thing I missed is a door, which I'll have to get. Okay, so let's get started. Now, when you're going to make one of these, you basically want to have an idea of how many bee nests and beehives you're going to put in here. I like to give a little bit of space in the middle as well, because that's where we're going to put our flowers, and the door right there. So is that going to be enough space? Maybe one more, and then we'll be putting, let's see. Yeah, let's just do one more. And then we can put all the hives and stuff along this way. Now I'm going to start with every second one. So basically hives are going to go there, 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 and there. Okay. And this is a good way to start because you can always place like another one in between and make it a solid beehive. But I like to start this way at least, because then it gives you also room for expansion. And then we can bring it all the way across. There we go. And at least just make the base here. I usually like to leave a little room here to put maybe a chest or something like that. And then over here, I usually like to put my automatic honeycomb collector. And then over here, I can always put more hives if I so desire. So I think just for the base, we'll put them in the corner like that. and maybe around the door like that. Most of this is all going to be glass. Got an extra 4 I kind of want to use up here. I don't know where I can put my last one. Guess we'll just put it there for now. So now we want to use all of our glass. Now, to be honest, you're going to double up your hives here. So, like behind your hives, you don't really, I guess, need glass because the hives are going to be blocking it. And that's a good way to save a little bit of glass as well. Put it in between like that. And then everything else will just be glass. And, you know, that lets you obviously look in and see what's going on, but it also gives you more light because we're going to make this fairly tall. It's like this. And I suppose I might as well keep the corners solid just for the sake of saving on some glass. I may actually end up needing more glass because your hives, let's take a look here. Your hives are going to be too high, and we'll see that as we go along here. And then you want a little space above them, maybe 3, and then we'll go straight across. Last time I did this, I made it kind of like a barn, and I kind of slowly, you know, moved it up. So it was kind of like a triangle at the top. But I think what I'm going to do is just make it straight across, and then we'll just kind of make it high and square. Now, the reason we make a bee sanctuary or a bee haven is to keep the bees together. In other words, if you just make it out in the open, they will tend to fly away looking for more flowers. And they'll fly so far away that they'll end up despawning. And eventually, you'll have no bees. Your bees will just disappear over time. And of course, you don't want that. Now, they have made some corrections lately in the programming so that bees will not wander as far. And this should help prevent them from all despawning on you and disappearing. And I have done a little test on this, and I found that it does help, but they still do it, and they still disappear. So you want something that's going to keep them indoors and safe from flying away. So I think that's pretty decent. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 high, and I'll make the roof on level 6. So I think that's pretty decent to allow them to fly around. All right, so let's start with the ceiling. And I guess I'll just put a block there to begin. Can get rid of that. And then just build it across. And like I said, I mean, you could use yellow stained glass if you want sort of a color themed type of sanctuary. So let's finish off our roof here, and then we can begin with the inside. Okay, so here is our lovely little bee sanctuary. Let's put a little bit of light in here. All right, so why did we dig a hole here? Well, this is where we want to put our campfires. Because just like in real life, bees are more docile when they are in smoke like that. The way you make a campfire is you're going to need logs. So not planks, but actual logs. You're going to need 3 logs along the bottom, and then 3 sticks and a piece of coal or charcoal in the middle. So we're going to go way up to the cherry blossom biome, and I'm going to show you some tricks with getting beehives and getting information from beehives. Okay, so here we are up on the cherry blossom biome, and let's go looking for some hives, or nests, I guess. Hives are what we make, nests are what we find. Okay, so here is a bee nest. So if you just look at it and put your cursor sort of in the center and hit F3, it will tell you some information about that bee nest. So if you look to the right there, where it says targeted block, it gives you the actual location of the block. It tells you what it is, bee nest, facing south. Honey level 5. Now, honey level 5 is the maximum level of honey. In other words, that's when you can collect honey. You see it dripping off of the nest right now. So that's when it's full. Okay, so it's starting to get dark. I'm going to get my silk touch, and I'm going to take this one. Okay, and now that we have it, if you put your cursor over it, it tells you how many bees are in it. So in this case, we've got 3 out of a possible 3 bees in it. And again, it's at honey level 5. So this is a great bee nest to take with us. We can put our beehive right on top, just like that. And now the bees will fly around. So let's first of all grab some flowers for them, so they're just not like, hey, what kind of garbage is this? I'm coming, bees, with your flowers. Relax. I know you're all looking like, where are the flowers? And why is there all this fire? All right, well, there was also some kind of recent programming that talked about that too high flowers are not as great with the bees anymore. So I'm just gonna put, a bunch of different flowers here. And I think we pretty much have enough. I mean, they're almost all over the place. And of course, you can breed bees as well. So let's get my shulker box out here, because I've got all the different bees in here. Now I'm going to grab one that have no bees in it. Okay, and I'm going to put that down just so this new little guy has a place to go. And you can tell these different ones have different levels of bees in them. So let's get all the ones with 3 bees out. And the second one's not too bad. I'm just going to put them down here. And you kind of want to cover up the fire as well, because you don't want bees doing stupid things like flying into the fire and dying. All right. And that pretty much gives us our bees. And one more down here. And then we're going to make some hives soon. Okay? Now, I also brought some glass bottles because glass bottles is how you collect honey. See, there you go. Be our guest. And you can collect the honey just like that. And the reason you can collect it without the bees attacking you is because they are over a campfire. And the smoke is allowing you to grab the honey without any issue whatsoever. And since I have lots of room for more bees, let's start breeding some, okay? And as you see, the way to breed bees is using flowers. You just give each bee a flower, and then they make a little baby bee like that. I think I'm empty here, so we can get rid of this guy. I'm also going to put down a chest here, just so we have one handy. I think I'm just going to move this, I don't know, there. So we've got more and more bees out. So let's see if we can breed a couple more, and they'll follow you with flowers too. Okay, so if you need a bee to follow you, just hold on to a flower like this, and they will follow you wherever you need to go. Any that can still be bred here? There we go. There's another one. All right, another little baby bee. And they will grow as time goes. And you can decide how many beehives you want. Now, you can also make this into a food area. In other words, in the middle, you would place a farm with either wheat or carrots or potatoes or whatever you want. And then on the far side over here is where you would place all the flowers, because then the bees would travel across the farm, grab the flowers, the pollen on the flowers, and then when they have enough pollen from the flowers, their butts get all full of pollen. And I think we saw one there briefly, but as soon as it was full, it zipped back into, there you go. See, you see one there, and see how it drops it? Well, if you put the flowers over here and the fields in the middle, well, it'll be dropping the bee pollen over the fields, and that acts like bone meal. In other words, it will speed up the growth of your farm. So make sure your bee sanctuary is fully lit, because the last thing you want is mobs spawning in here. That would not be good. So let's just get rid of some of these flowers here. And I'm going to make our automatic honeycomb collector. Now, honeycombs are different than honey, which you can collect in bottles. In order to collect honeycomb, you need shears. So let's go over how to create this. And what's great about these automatic honeycomb collectors is they take up very little space. In other words, only 2 spaces and maybe 3 high. So they're very compact, and you can place them right next to each other. So you could put like 4 in a row right here if you wanted to. So let's get started in showing you how to build one. Before we get started on the honeycomb collector, another thing you might want here is a crafting table. And if you want to just sort of give yourself extra room or whatever, you can just put it in the ground like that. And that allows you to craft things with your honey and your honeycomb. But for now, we're going to put the honey in here. You're going to want lots of empty bottles. And of course, you need glass blocks for that. And you just put the glass blocks sort of in a triangle shape like I'm showing you here. And that will give you 3 glass bottles. So you can see some of our hives are full again. So this time we're going to use shears, and we're going to right click, and we're going to get honeycomb. Okay, and you're going to get 3 honeycomb for every snip of the shear. We need honeycomb in order to make a hive. Okay, so you basically need planks and honeycomb in the middle, which of course now I have both. And now I have a beehive, which of course, as it shows, 0 bees, 0 honey, because we just made it. So the reason I made it is because we need a hive or a nest, whatever you choose to use, right here for our honeycomb collector. And we're also going to need another beehive over here because we only have 1. And I like to use, have it look decent. And yes, I know it's going to be a hive over a nest, but at least it's all 2 high. Okay, so now that we have a hive, we can begin with how to make this automatic beehive collector. Okay, so you want to start with your barrel and just place your barrel down like this. And then you want to use your hopper, and you want to crouch, and you want to put the hopper into the barrel. So if you come over to the side, you can see the hopper is going into the barrel just like that. And then you want your dispenser over the barrel, just like that, facing out. And then in front of the dispenser is where you want to place your bee nest or beehive. Then we can just put a block down here so we can come up. And over the beehive is where you want to put your observer. So you're going to basically jump and place the observer so it's facing down. You've got your little red butt facing up. And then behind it, you can just place any block. Here I've got a block of andesite. I can just put down here. Oh, we're going to have to move our torch, place our andesite, and then on top is where you want to place the redstone. Okay, just like that. Now, if you place one beside it, the redstone will all connect, but it does not matter. All right, just like that. And then the very last thing you need to do is come over to the dispenser and put in 1 to 9 shears. And that's it. 2 by 3, and it takes up such little space. It's really great. Now, we need more bees. So for now, I think I'm going to borrow a shear, and I'm going to just grab a couple more like that, so that I can have a couple more hives. Just like that. And for now, I'll put the hives in here. And let's see if we can breed some more bees. Oh, we ran out. One more. There we go. All right. Now, you're going to have to keep track after a little bit to make sure you're not over supplying bees. In other words, the bees all have a home to go to. Now, right now, I have so many extra homes that it's not really a worry. I wish that you could look at a hive and it would tell you how many bees are in it. But unfortunately, it will only give you that information if you pick it up. So let's grab a couple more of the honey. All these are full. You can see how quickly things fill up, which is great. Now, once you have a honey bottle, you can use a honey bottle for a number of different things. If you have a poison or an effect on you, you can actually take away the effect with a honey bottle in the same way you would have with a bucket of milk. Well, if you're hungry, like you see here, I've got 5 bars that are empty. If you drink honey, it will give you 3 full bars. So it can be used as a food. The other thing you can do is if you place 4 in a row, well, not in a row, but 4 in a box like this, you can create a honey block. Now, honey blocks can do a multiple number of things. They can be used to bounce or not take as much fall damage. They can be used to slow someone's walk. So if there was honey blocks under here, you'd be going a lot slower. My favorite use for a honey block is a honey block elevator because it works differently than a water elevator. You can just walk up to it and it takes you up. And I think I'll be doing that soon. Maybe I'll make an elevator to the top of the cherry blossom biome over there, and I'll use a honey elevator to do that. So stay tuned if you want to see how a honey elevator works. Honey blocks can also be used to extend the push limit of certain contraptions. So let's take a look at honeycomb. What good are honeycomb? Well, as you know, honeycomb can be used to make beehives like this one. Honeycomb can be used to make candles just by putting a honeycomb and a string, and that will give you a candle. If you want to color the candle, just add any kind of dye and you will get the candle of your choice. Honeycomb is also used to wax copper so that it does not oxidize, especially copper bulbs, so they stay bright instead of going dull. And last but not least, you can also make a honeycomb block. And honeycomb blocks can be used to build and give things more of a honeycomb look if that's what you're looking for. So why don't we put that right there? since this is a beehive or a bee haven, let's put the honey block or the honeycomb block right there. So those are the different uses for honeycombs. And there you go. Today we made our bee haven or bee sanctuary. And hopefully you learned all you needed to know about bees and the different uses of the products they give us. So thank you so much for watching. Have yourself a great day. Don't forget to subscribe. Bye for now. Another thing I want to mention is honey gets filled up when the bee leaves the hive. So if it's doing its thing with flowers and it has lots of pollen in it, when it goes into the hive will not update. Okay, so for example, let's just see if there's a... Here, yeah, this is honey level 4. Okay, so this one is honey level 4. So when a bee goes into this, it will not update. But when a bee comes out, it will update. So there you go. A bee just came out. And as you can tell, it went to level 5 and now it is full. Okay, so I'm just going to collect our honey. And you can see how quickly you can get a lot of honey going. Now, honey bottles are one of the only drinks that can stack, but it'll only stack up to 16. Now let's see how our automatic honeycomb collector has been doing. Oh, so we have 3 honeycomb already collected, just kind of sitting there and waiting. And as as bees go in and out and it gets full, it automatically gets taken and placed